All right, guys. Titles. I'll start. Totally Bussin.
The wood fears him.
Wave and smile.
I am stupid.
I might have to isolate that. Leaked into Maine.
Brown noise.
So sweet and snazzy.
Allergic to handcuffs.
Stop the poops.
Shocked by reason.
We are that noise.
Janet Reno.
All right. So let's do this.
Warning. What you are about to hear contains explicit language, adult themes, and potentially disturbing content. The views and opinions expressed are those of the hosts and do not reflect the opinions of anyone else, anywhere, ever, in the history of the world. This podcast is intended for an immature audience and should not be listened to by anyone, anywhere, ever, in the history of the world. You know, fuck it. You've been warned.
Hello and welcome to this week's edition of Geek Pod. I'm your host, Paul.
I'm Hugh.
I'm Corbs.
And I'm Kevin.
Guys, what's got you geeked?
Well, I have something that has me pretty excited. It's going to be kind of for next week as well. So this week, we decided we were going to eat really, really healthy for the first few days because we went to New Jersey over the weekend, like you know, Paul, and ate a lot of really, really good food that was not the best food in the world for us. So I'm like, you know what? I did smoothies for breakfast and lunch the first 2 days. We did salads like sausage and salad Monday night, and I decided on we were going to do chicken breasts and salad on a Tuesday. So I fire up the grill, have it going. I'm in the house puttering around, go outside and find that my grill is completely on fire. Like there is fire coming out of around the box. Just
Yeah, I've been there.
Now I haven't put any food on yet. This was just heating up. When I open it up, the actual grill grates are on fire. It was insane. I've never seen anything like that. So I did manage to get it put out. I had to fight with it and change tanks a couple times and managed to cook our food. But, you know, I've been thinking about this anyway, and I finally went and pulled the trigger, and I ordered a pellet grill from Z Grills. And I've been waiting on a model that had the door to open so that you could have the direct fire access for searing. And I finally found what I was looking for at a price that I thought was reasonable. And it's going to be here somewhere between Tuesday and next Thursday. But I got to say, I am super excited about this. And Kev looks like he might have something to say about pellet grills.
Love them. I'll never go back. I went from charcoal to pellet, and I'll never go back.
What brand do you use?
I have a Pit Boss.
Okay. That's one of the ones I was looking at as well. The reason I ended up going with Z Grills was just because they used to make Traeger's grills for them and Traeger's like, you know, one of the top names in pellet grills, and they decided they wanted to start selling them themselves because obviously they make more money that way. So it's basically, you know, a lot of the designs of a Traeger at about half the price.
Nice.
We'll see how it holds up.
That's cool. They're a lot of fun. I mean, you can do all sorts of fun stuff with them. You got a searing option on yours, so that's about the only thing that you haven't been able to do with a pellet grill up to this point. You know, typically have a a gas grill or an electric grill or something on the side to do the searing with. But it sounds like you got it all figured out. That's pretty cool.
Hope so. Yeah. I kind of think about these things because, my outdoor kitchen has to be complete. It's never like, oh, well, it'd be better if it's seared. No, we're not fucking doing this unless I have everything right there on day one.
That's cool. Nothing, the flavor, there's nothing like it. The wood is, I always like the charcoal, but the wood is just so much better.
Yeah. Well, I like cooking with wood. I've had wood smokers, stick burners and things like that. But they're always such a pain in the ass. And it's as I get older, I'm like, what? I don't care if like the young hip people, think I'm lazy or I suck. You know what? Aaron fucking Franklin does nothing but barbecue. He can throw wood at a grill and tell it to stay at the right temperature for 6 hours, and it will because it's scared of him. Okay, I don't have that. I just want to put some food in there and get it to smoke or cook and have it come out decent and enjoy myself before I die of a heart attack.
Goals. Gotta have goals.
Yeah, goals. That's good. That's good. You got the right kind of goals, I think.
But that's what's got me excited. I am curious if I know what has Corbs excited this week, though.
All right. Well, for me, mine goes back to last week. So, as you guys know, I'm an avid golfer. On Monday, I played in a golf tournament with the guys that I play golf with. It was for Clearpath, which supports veterans. And this was a tournament for veterans.
Okay.
So that in itself was very special to the four of us because my two friends, Mark and Sean, both served. One was in the Marine, one was in the Army. So we decided we were going to play in this tournament for the two of them. They got us into it. Sean got us into it. So we went on Monday. It was me and Sean and Mark is the other guy that served in, my buddy Justin. We all played. And we actually won the tournament.
Nice.
Sweet.
Yeah. So it was at the Pompey Country Club up in Pompey. So it's a private course, another private course that I got to play on. But yeah.
Is that in Pompey?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. So it was very nice. It was a nice tournament. Nice people. We got to meet a lot of nice people there. Like I said, I ended up winning the tournament. We finished 8 under. We tied. There was 3 groups at 8 under, but we had the first. The way it goes, you have the first hole that you don't tie somebody on. So the first hole you get a better score than the group behind you is the winning team. So that's how we ended up winning the whole tournament. So.
Nice.
But like I said, great people. Food was fantastic. They had a steak dinner at the end. So it was just it's a really good time, and it was a really good cause. And we're going to go back next year and play again. So it's like I said, it's for the veterans. So everybody who served, Kevin, I know you served. So again, it's something that we find very, very special. Obviously, because both my buddies served, and it's something that we enjoyed a great deal. So we're going to go back and do it again next year. So.
Nice. Now, the big question is, did you get your gold jacket?
No, I didn't get a green jacket either.
What's the gold jacket? How did I screw that?
The Tour Championship from Happy Gilmore.
Okay, that's why, because I just watched that 2 weeks ago.
The green jacket is the one you win for the Masters every year in real life.
You should have got a camouflage jacket.
Ooh.
There you
I
go.
was definitely wrong. I thought what had you excited this week might have been I saw that MLB The Show just released some sort of Field of Dreams DLC. Either it's coming or it dropped today or something. I didn't look into the details, but I'm guessing you get to play on that field.
That would be nice. And the other thing that's got me geeked is tomorrow night, the White Sox and the Yankees are playing at the Field of Dreams.
Nice.
What?
Yeah, it's gonna be on Fox.
That's what that was. I
That's
saw
what that
something
is.
about that.
Yeah, they're gonna be playing there. So
What time?
8:00 on Fox.
All right, I'll be home from Warrior
Right.
practice.
Totally got to see that. I got to see that.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So they built the stadiums. It's not like the actual field that they actually built a stadium for them to play at. They're gonna try to do this every single year.
That's cool.
Have 2 teams play there every year. This year it's the Yankees and the than the White Sox. The White Sox are going with their old school uniforms. They tweaked them a little bit, so
Oh man,
yeah, it's gonna be pretty nice. So yeah, I'll be glued watching the game tomorrow when I get home. I'll watch it a little bit because tomorrow's date night with Kelly. So, but when we go to dinner, it'll be on, and then when I get home, I'll finish watching it. So I've been actually pretty stoked because the White Sox have been on in the past week. They've been on 4 times.
Nice.
So I've been able to watch them. When they're on, I try to watch them as much as I can. They were on Sunday Night Baseball. They were on Monday night, and I watched both games. And then they're going to be on Thursday, so I'll be watching it then too. So.
And we wear black socks. Is that racist?
That's actually the name of the 1919 team. Their nickname was the Black
Criminals.
Sox.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Criminals. And the reason, do you know the reason why they're called the Black Sox, Paul?
because they wore black socks.
No. You don't know?
Was that because they were tainted with the whole scandal?
No, they. So their owner at the time, Charles Comiskey, charged the team to wash their uniforms.
Okay.
So the players, in a fit of mutiny, decided they weren't going to wash their uniforms.
Ew.
So they played with dirty uniforms all years. So they got labeled the Black Sox because of it.
Interesting.
Yep. So it correlates to them, being banned and all that stuff, but that's the actual real reason they're called the Black Sox. It's not because they put a black eye in baseball and all that stuff. It's because he charged them for everything. I mean, that's the reason, and that's the main reason why these guys decided to do that. He made promises to these guys, like the main pitcher for the White Sox at the time, Eddie Cicotte. If he won 30 games, he got a $10,000 bonus.
Which back then was huge.
Back then was huge. And Charles Comiskey demanded that he sit for 2 weeks. They didn't pitch him for 2 straight weeks, and he missed 4 starts, and he finished with 29 wins.
Bullshit. Yep.
So yeah, so everybody was like, well, that's bullshit. Why would you do that to them? Some of the guys were underpaid. Some of the guys were just like, well, we're going to do this because fuck everybody else. But a lot of the guys got roped in. I mean, obviously, my favorite player is Joe Jackson. He was illiterate. He didn't understand a lot of stuff. So he got roped in because they basically made him feel guilty about not doing it.
Gotcha.
So,
peer pressure.
At that time, I mean, he was very illiterate. He didn't sign his own contracts. His wife had to read his contracts for him and help him sign it. Again, I've done a lot of research on the whole stuff, so I know a lot more than most people. And every year, I don't know if you noticed, but every year people will talk about Pete Rose being inducted into the Hall of Fame. And I always post the same comment, well, if Pete Rose is going to get inducted, and I don't think Pete Rose shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame. The man is the hit king, 4,000 hits. He does deserve to be there. But if you put him in there, you got to put Joe Jackson.
Right, opens it back up.
Yep. And I found out, I was watching a TV show called Backstory on ESPN about Joe Jackson and Pete Rose. They're now linked together because of the whole being banned for life. I didn't know this, but when Pete Rose got banned back in, it was 89, something like that, 88, 89, somewhere around there. 2 weeks before he got investigated, they were going to reinstate Joe Jackson.
Really?
Yeah, it was pretty wild. I was watching this whole backstory about it, and I was like, wow. And then the moment they started investigating him, they put that in the back burners. And when he got jammed up, they said no.
Right.
And now they won't. Neither one of them will be allowed in.
Yeah. Bullshit.
So, yep. So it's pretty wild. I'm done.
All right. And that's your sports history lesson for the week.
It is.
Yeah.
There'll be more next week.
I learned something.
Don't make promises you won't keep.
Good point.
Kev.
Me? No. What's got me geeked? I'm just winding down from our big long trip, almost 1,800 miles we did on the motorcycles out to Maine and back. 8 days, I think it was, and worked out to be, an average of 220 some miles on the machines. We didn't ride every day. We got out to Maine, spent a couple days in Winter Harbor, and I got a chance to get down into Schoodic Scudic Point, which is off of Winter Harbor. It's you go out into towards the ocean, and it's off of Winter Harbor. Winter Harbor is just north along the coast of Maine from Bar Harbor. So honestly, I think you can swim from Bar Harbor to Winter Harbor faster than you can drive, because you got to go all the way to the mainland, all the way around, and it's a pain in the ass. But you get on the Scudic Point, and the drive through there is just as scenic and just as nice as Acadia Park, over off of Bar Harbor. And it is part of Acadia National Park, but the part that everybody thinks of is the part around Bar Harbor, or just off of over near Bar Harbor. And but this is so nice because there's almost nobody there, and any of the stops you want to make and look and take pictures or whatever, there's almost nobody there. And you get down to the point, and I mean you're on the ocean, and the waves are coming in. We were there in the afternoon, so the water was coming in, it was smashing against the rocks, and we got some great pictures. And Kathy was standing out on the rocks, sitting out little, not out to the edge, because God forbid, to get washed away. I tried to get her close to the edge, but it just didn't happen. Anyway, so big eruptions of the water, as it was coming in. It was really, really cool. And seeing the boats out there and the people just hanging out. There was very few people there, and it was just fantastic. And after finding this place, after talking about it, posting some pictures of it, whatever, some of my friends got back to me like, "Oh yeah, we love Scudic Point. So that is the place to go. That's definitely the best place." So that was pretty cool. Awesome. On the way back, we found a really neat lodge to stay in up in Greenville, Maine, which is right near Moosehead Lake. Beautiful place. Happened to be the only place that had a room available. That this time of year up there is typically really, really busy, and this year is exceptionally busy. So our plan to just ride and find a place, motel, whatever, on the way to Stowe, Vermont, was a bad idea in more ways than one. The lodge ended up being a little bit more than what we would typically spend, but it worked out to be an amazing experience. I'll show you the pictures sometime, and you'll see what I mean. The views were amazing. Views of Moosehead Lake, and the people that took care of the place were just fantastic. Spent a couple days in Stowe, and then and came back. And what's really got me jazzed about the whole trip was that my wife rode her own machine for the first time. Normally she's been riding two up with me for years. And last summer she got herself about this time last summer, she got herself her own machine. It's a three-wheeled Can-Am Riker, 900cc triple fully automatic transmission. Can-Am does this great thing where they have electronic controls that keep the machine on three wheels. They modulate the throttle and the brakes, and makes it has anti-lock brake system. It has all these great features on it, and it uses this electronic controls to keep it on three wheels. So you can rail corners pretty hard. You don't have to worry about it tipping up or tipping over or losing traction or whatever. And it does it in a way that it doesn't interfere with your riding. You don't feel it like fighting you or kicking back or anything. Some of the early Spiders that they had, you could actually feel it. I drove a pre-production model. I'm nobody special. It's just that they had a bunch of machines that they brought out. They took them to all sorts of different places to get as many people in them as possible. And I got a chance to get into one of those groups, and you could feel it in those early machines. You could really feel it. If you're on the gas and you're hard, going as fast as you can into a corner, all of a sudden you feel the brakes, you feel the machine shifting a little bit. And what it does is it backs off the throttle, and it modulates the brakes, like I say, to keep all three wheels on the ground. And you could really feel it on the early machines. You can't anymore.
Nice.
It's completely gone. It's a great system. But she did it. We made a couple of modifications of the machine, got our new seat. And that helped a lot because the stock seat's really a piece of crap, which it is on most machines. But the seat helped a lot. 200 plus miles in a day on a motorcycle is tough. The three-wheeler, same thing. It's tough. It's hard on your body. But she did it. She feels good today. Felt good yesterday after we got home. So I'm thrilled that she's still loving her machine and wants to do more. And we're talking about how we can put more luggage on it and how we can do more trips. And I just think it's great. I'm just happy that she's enjoying herself. I mean, I for the longest time I've not wanted her to ride her own machine because she just didn't feel comfortable in traffic, and the whole clutch and brake and everything you got to know about a motorcycle just added too much complexity to it for her. Now
Right.
that complexity's gone, she can just enjoy riding and use the skills that she has, because she has an amazing basket of skills that she's picked up, snowmobiling and riding with me, and she has her own motorcycle license. She's taken the test, and she rode a motorcycle for a little while, so she has these skills, and she's very aware, and she's it's funny. Yeah, I got this thing from her. She used to, when she was sitting on the back of the bike, we'd be going along, and people don't see motorcycles, and you have to ride like that. You have to understand that. So what she would do is she would see somebody, and she learned this in her rider's class to get her license. What she learned was that you have to watch. You don't watch the person, you don't watch the vehicle, you watch the tires. And if the tires are still moving, that car is coming out in front of you. They're going to turn in front of you. They're going to pull out. They're going to pull across. Whatever it is, the car's still moving, hasn't stopped. Therefore, they're going to try to kill you. That's just the way it is. That's the way it is. So what she'll do is she'll reach right out and not give them the finger, but she'll just wave. She just waves and waves, big smile, and just waves. And then people stop and they look, and they're like, I mean, it's amazing the reaction she gets. So I picked up doing the same thing. I don't flip people off. I don't yell at them. I don't do anything. I just wave and I wave and I look right at them and I wave as I'm going by, and they just don't know what to think. And it's absolutely hilarious. That reaction, I think, is the best that I've ever had from, any kind of hand motions I could make to a vehicle driver. I think this one is probably the best, and I got that from her. She still does that. It's pretty funny to see. It's really funny. One more thing. I could talk about this for a long time, but the one thing that's been going on since she's been riding is she notices when other motorcyclists don't wave to her. There's a thing where motorcyclists, like, people that drive Jeeps, they wave to each other, and it's all about it's a kindred spirit kind of thing. You don't care what they're riding. If they're broke down on the side of the road, you stop, you find out if you can help. You do what you can to help a brother on a motorcycle. So some people don't want to wave at the three-wheel machines because they don't think that they're legitimate or whatever. So there's that. Whenever we see another spider, like a spider rider, they'll always wave if they're comfortable taking their hands off the handlebars. Sometimes some of the older folks, I think, by what I've seen, it's not typical, not just older folks, but they won't raise their hand. They might, put up a couple fingers off their handlebar or whatever like that. But the funniest thing is when she meets another Riker rider, she's got this whole body wave going on, because one of the first ones she saw, this guy, he flipped out and he's just like this whole body wave, hi. And so now she does that, and we joke around about it. It's like, it's the Riker wave. You got to do the whole body wave, and it's freaking hilarious. Oh, it's funny. It's just a funny thing. And then we get the headset communicator, so we're all talking to each other. So if I was leading and she was behind me, the folks that were behind her, my friend Steve and his wife on their Goldwing, they would see it. They'd be like, "Oh, there's your people, Kathy. There's your people." And she'd wave. Oh, it's so funny. It was just hilarious. It was a good time. So we're coming down from that, just kind of trying to decompress, and I got a lot of work to do. I've got a motorcycle that needs some TLC. I got some issues with the bike that I took, electronics issues, nothing safety or mechanical wise, but something I got to fix on that. And I'm still getting ready for the rally. It looks like the U.S. border's open.
Nice.
US residents can come back, no problem. And they may not allow Canadian residents over. As long as the border stays open, I will be going to the rally in September.
Nice.
I do have a support team, and I'm going to be practicing for that every weekend from now until I go.
Outstanding.
Yep. So that's where I'm at.
All right. Well, mine isn't exactly the same as yours, Kevin, but it's similar. What's got me geeked is I too am back from vacation, which is why we didn't record last week, if anyone even noticed that we didn't record last week. So, but I was in the general vicinity as you. What, you got something to say?
I said one person noticed.
Oh, you?
No, I don't know who it was.
It was Corbs. He's sitting there looking around for us. Guys? We're in the general vicinity of the same area. I was in New Hampshire, and we leaked over into Maine for a little bit. But like you said, I think I was on the exact polar opposite end of Maine.
Oh, don't ever say that again.
Exact polar opposite?
Leaked over into Maine a bit.
Someone write that down.
No title.
No, we did most of ours in New Hampshire. We go every summer. Kristen's family, my wife, they do a lobster bake on the beach every year. And we go up for it. This year, instead of it just being sitting around her grandfather's house waiting for the lobster bake, we actually organized some other cool shit to do. And the coolest one for me was visiting the USS Albacore. This is in Portsmouth, New Hampshire. It is a research submarine that was designed by the U.S. Navy to test experimental features, most of which that they were experimenting with back then actually were put into the nuclear fleet, which was really cool. So the four of us went, me, Kristen, the two kids, checked the whole thing out. Tight quarters doesn't even begin to. Yeah, so Hugh knows. You've been there. Kevin, have you been there too?
We visited the one the submarine in New York City.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's a different type. Yeah, but yeah, we've been inside one. Yeah.
Did the old guy follow you through the whole thing talking?
No, now they have audio boxes set up where you hit buttons and they explain the whole thing through it. I really wish we would have had the old timer telling you about it, but I mean, it's cool the way they do it too, because they've got a narrator that goes through, and then when the narrator's done, like on all these audio things, they actually have like basically someone who actually served on the Albacore, like relating stories to you. Wow. So it's really cool. But the most fun, like I said, was watching everybody try to squeeze through this damn thing. Kristen didn't have a great time with it. She gets a little claustrophobic. Madison obviously couldn't climb through the hatches, so I'm hefting her ass through them as we go. And then there's Kylie, who just literally like parkours through it. She grabs the top of the hatches and shoots herself through it. And yeah, but I mean, it was so cool to see that and to hear all the shit that they did with that sub. Like literally, like it would go out for tests, come back, and they would literally cut the fucker in half and like implement new shit on it, change out like the rotors on it, on the back, right? The fins, that's what they're, the rotors, right?
Well, there's the screw, which is
rudders,
drives it, and then the rudder that turns it.
Yeah. I mean, because her grandfather was even telling us about it, because he remembers that from living up there and being old. Sorry. He remembered all of it, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I am." I know the guy opens his house up to us, shows us all the hospitality in the world, and the first thing I do is say, "That's an old motherfucker right there." But it was really cool. He was relating the stories about how they got it there to where it's dry docked and how they had to dig shit out to get it in. And like I said, they would hoist it up there in dry dock and cut the fucker open and slap new shit on. And it was just really cool. We did that. We went to a really cool beach in Maine called Old Orchard. And it's literally, you've been there too. Okay. Yeah, so you can attest. It's like it's almost like the beach towns you see in movies. It's got the amusement park and everything. Yeah.
Except we were there the week after it closed because my mother-in-law is cheap and only goes in the off season. So literally everything was shut down.
Wow. See, now the amusement park was still closed because COVID. But I mean, but the shops and everything were open, and the beach is phenomenal. And some of the sites on that beach, damn.
I didn't see those pictures in Facebook posts.
You're gonna have to get those from Kristen's
pictures.
brother.
Yeah, I haven't.
He's the one that got the good pictures. Yeah. because like I said, the entire family was all up there. Like this was a huge thing. Then we did the lobster bake itself. They rent out an entire pavilion. It's a whole huge party. No alcohol though. It's dry. I got all jacked up on Diet Mountain Dew. That counts. Oh, okay.
Was it BYOB?
I probably would have been if I would have thought about it ahead of time. I just didn't think of it.
Maine has some really good beer.
Next time we go up, I'm hitting some of the breweries. We were looking into that.
Vermont, New Hampshire too. Vermont's got a lot of good beers, but New Hampshire's starting to come along.
Starting to,
Maine,
yeah. I was looking
Maine's
them
got
up.
some really good beers.
Yeah. We keeping you awake, Corbs?
I itch.
So yeah, that was basically my vacation. We did another like science museum, but there wasn't much to talk about. That I felt like that was a waste of $50. But anyway, guys, what are you playing?
I jumped back into Valhalla.
Did you?
Assassin's Creed Valhalla, yeah. Finally started taking on the DLC, the Wrath of the Druids, which takes place in Ireland. After some time away from it is what I needed because I'm totally back into it and enjoying it now, and playing for about an hour every night. One thing I did notice is Ireland is visually very different than
Really?
than the England part of the base game. Very dark too. Now, I don't know. Maybe Ireland is a dreary fucking place in general, but this seems a little bit too dreary. And even once in a while, there'll be like a rainstorm and it's beautiful, and you turn and there's a fucking rainbow in the sky. But everything looks like it's, I don't know, something out of the scorched earth of Lord of the Rings or something. And it's not that it's scorched earth; it's just the grass is that dark. I don't know. I think they could have made it look a little nicer, but the gameplay, I shouldn't say nicer. They could have made it a little brighter. That's all. Gameplay wise, though, back to enjoying it. They do introduce a few new mechanics. They've got a new cult to hunt down who have some new tricks up their sleeves, and the second part of their DLC, the second one, the Siege of Paris, comes out tomorrow. So if you have the season pass, tomorrow is the 12th is the day to get it, and that looks like it's going to be great as well.
Nice. I have not gone back yet, but now I may have to.
Anyone else?
No.
No.
I'm just playing the same games. The game I've been playing on my golf course tycoon game. That's it.
I am right now, actually, as we speak, downloading the Avengers DLC, War for Wakanda. Hoping that the game's better after that. And I just picked up more for Kylie than me, Jurassic World Evolution. Because she is so insanely into dinosaurs and anything Jurassic Park / World. I figured let the kid run wild, creating her own Jurassic Park. So
let a kid play God with dinosaur DNA. What could go wrong?
Right. I mean, Israel's going to do it anyway, so. But Kevin, your eyes are bugging out. You didn't see that in the news?
What the hell did I miss now?
No, Israel's literally fucking around with Jurassic Park ideas. Yeah.
That's perfect. That's
right.
Absolutely perfect for the Middle East.
Because there haven't been 5 movies to explain why it's a bad idea.
Oh, they haven't seen any of them, and they were made by somebody in the U.S. They don't care about that.
Okay, good point. Kevin, all right, what are you playing?
Oh, I just put on a game ahead of my phone, one I've been playing for a while. I didn't realize, and I guess that's the only reason why I threw it on there. I was doing it as a joke. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm playing Solitaire on my phone, but there's a little bit more to it than just a plain old Solitaire game. There's daily challenges, and there's some points to be had, and new goals every day. So if you do certain things, you do it a certain way, then you tend to get more points, and you get more level. But this game developer, and I'm just going by what they say on their website. I have no idea if this is actually true or not. They say in MobilityWare, they say they're the original app developer for the original game called Solitaire for App Store and Google Play.
No kidding.
And they say they are. Oh, okay, whatever. It's just a game of solitaire. The one thing I will say about this, though, is that it does get me to come back because the daily challenges are all solvable. Now, there's some games of solitaire that you cannot solve. It's just they have too many cards hidden. You just can't get them out. You can't get them out. And you can't win the game, as I understand it. I don't know if that's true, but that's as I understand it, according to what I've read and my experience. Daily challenges are always solvable, and if you've ever played cards like on your table, play solitaire, you might do the rule where once the card's down, you can't move it, to another stack or whatever, or once it's up in the I forget what it's called up above when you build the piles from ace up. Once it's up there, you can't bring them down. I mean, that's how my grandmother taught me how to play. The game doesn't follow those rules. You can move the cards back into the field if you want. So you have to do some of that sometimes in order to find what I call the key. There's always a key in the most difficult games. And it's, 2 red 9s are up. You pick this one this time. It didn't work. You pick the other one next time. Sometimes that's all it is. Well, I had one hand not long ago where I had to build all the hearts in the I forget what it's called, but the top part where you build them all up from ace up.
Right.
You had to build all the hearts, and if you did that, you would eventually release the 9 of hearts, which was hiding the key card, and the next card allowed you to play the rest of the game. So the daily challenges take me back to the game again and again. So it's that game that you play when you've got 5 minutes to kill, and instead of just sitting there with your thumb up your nose, you want to actually do something interesting, and that's what I do. So that's the game. Solitaire by MobilityWare.
I think that's the same one I have, and I've had it since I first got my iPhone. I think it's like the standard version that comes with the iPhone.
Probably.
Nice. But let's switch gears. Jesus Christ, just a little bit. What's your tabletop review this week, Kev?
So I cheated a little bit this week because I've been a little busy the last couple of weeks. And I just went to Board Game Geek and took a look at some of the reviews, some of their most recent reviews, and I really liked the sound of this one. And I did something wrong when I copied and pasted. Looks like I got the game up here. Let me just read it from there. Where's Board Game Geek? Better open it. All right, so this game is Descent, Legends of the Dark. And I wanted to just read a little bit, this first paragraph. Terranoth is in peril. The demon-tainted Uthak Elan barbarians stalk the realm, and the undead servants of Wakar the Undying venture beyond their borders for the first time in memory. The leaders of Terranoth are divided and fractious. Fractious? I thought it was fractious, but it's fractious. Unable to unite against these common threats. And in the northern barony of Forthin, the stage is set for the next great confrontation between Terranoth and the forces of darkness. Now, the really cool part about this is that it is partially app-based.
Oh, no kidding.
Yep. Cool. Core gameplay mechanisms like combat, such as combat fatigue, skills, items, and more, have received completely new interpretations with Legends of the Dark, while a new approach to scenario layout and 3D terrain creates striking multi-level scenarios. Really, 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 really cool descriptions. Some of the pieces have some really neat, interesting designs to them. There's a bunch of figures that come with this, and again, nice. I linked to BoardGameGeek.com because there's great reviews there, great pictures, players, gamers submitted. Now I'm looking for the one part. Okay, here it is. Powered by an integrated free companion app, Descent, Legends of the Dark puts you in the role of budding hero with their own play style and abilities. Together with your unlikely companions, you'll begin an unexpected adventure. An adventure told across the 16 quests of the Blood and Flame campaign. Throughout your campaign, you'll face undead lurking in the mists, demonic barbarians stalking the wilds, and even more terrifying threats. With 46 pieces of 3D terrain and 40 hero and monster miniatures, that's 86 pieces.
Wow.
Right there. Monster miniatures to draw you into the game. Your greatest adventure is yet before you. Your objectives will change from quest to quest as you follow the overarching story of the campaign. So this is a dungeon crawl, app-driven dungeon crawl set in the world of Terranos. I thought the description was really, really cool. The whole idea about having an app companion to help you play the game, I thought that was really cool. And who doesn't love a dungeon crawl with really, really cool 3D figures?
Outstanding. Something we might have to check into, huh?
Yeah, it sucks, but yeah, I mean, there's so many of these things that just sound and look so great, and you know, they give it a really good rating. Complexity rating of 2.5 out of 5. So it really doesn't seem like it's that difficult. So you could probably get some of your lesser inclined players to get in and have fun. But yeah, I think it looks like a lot of fun.
You know, I am looking forward to hearing your take on the Fallout tabletop game when we get closer to release on that.
I'll have to look that up. Actually, I didn't even know they were doing it.
Yeah, it can't digitally. I think it's out now, but the actual physical version isn't being released for another month or two, I think.
Neat. That's neat. I wonder what they're going to do with it. I mean, I got an idea. I mean, if you played Fallout, you kind of have an idea of what it could be. But yeah, that'd be neat.
Interesting.
Yeah, I might have to buy it. Just to have it. Very first Funko Pop figure I ever had was Fallout Boy. Just saying.
Not the band, from the game. Yeah.
I believe the band's name from the game. So, just saying.
Never done both. Played the game or listened to the band. So
I don't know the band.
Yeah.
They're not for us, I'm assuming.
Fun. The game's fun.
All right, so why don't we throw it?
I played I went back to an old school game for my aunt was in town from Virginia. So then last night she was here, we had her over for game night.
Nice.
So
nice.
We ended up playing Sequence.
Sequence?
Yeah. Okay. The look on everybody's faces, you've never heard of this game.
I don't know.
No.
So it's basically a card game. You get a board, and it's got the cards laid out across the board. You play with 2 decks, and you have to make a row of 5 pieces. We played 3 teams.
Okay.
And you all get, a certain number of cards. 3 teams, you get 5 cards. If you're playing with less than that, you all get 7 cards. And you play the card, you put the chip on the card, and you got to make a row of 5. So it's pretty cool. We actually, to be honest with you, just tell you how long ago it was when we bought this. My mom and I were at Toys R Us.
Wow.
Up in Great Northern.
Yep.
We were walking through. It was right before they were getting ready to close, and we were looking because we had started talking about doing like game nights and stuff like that. So we were looking for random games to play. We were looking for games to play with my son and stuff like that. And one of the ladies was walking by. She's like, "If you're looking for a game to play for like game night, you should get this game." And my mom and I were like, "Well, yeah." So we decided to pick it up, and we played that game probably once a month.
Nice.
So, but it was we hadn't played it in a while. So when my aunt was here, we were trying to figure out kind of something to do. So we pull out my mom said, "Let's pull out Sequence and play." So we played before dinner. We played that, and it was a great time. You're laughing, you're joking. You're playing with your team, but you can't talk to each other.
Okay.
You can't kind of say, well, I got the 4 hearts, you got the 5 hearts, and so that you can't communicate at all. You just have to play the cards and play off of each other. And then obviously you're playing against 2 other teams. So you're playing offensively, you're playing defensively. So it was pretty cool. And then my my son, who, by the way, is listening to the podcast now. So we have another viewer and another listener. Yeah, we're up to 3 now. He actually was at a buddy's house last year, maybe 2 years ago, and they played a game for the Switch called Jackbox.
Yep.
Very familiar with that.
Yeah. So we played it when my aunt was here, and oh my God, laugh out loud, hysteric stuff that we were doing. He did the one where you had to do like a presentation. So you're having to say what's on the screen, and somebody else is picking the pictures that you have to. Oh, it was hysterical. And you have to keep talking. The whole thing is you have to keep communicating. You have to keep going. No matter what's going on, you have to keep talking. You know, what the picture is, oh my God, I nearly peed on myself. So that was something. So my aunt decided that he was in charge of entertainment for Christmas when she comes up. So we're going to do Jackbox again at Christmas time. So
now there's multiple versions of that too, right?
Well, there's a ton of stuff you can do with it.
Nice.
There's a ton of games you can play with it and stuff like that. We only did 2. I think everybody at first, like my mom and I were talking about it after, but I think everybody was kind of apprehensive at first to play it because he's 14 and we're all in our 40s.
Right.
And older. My aunt and mom obviously older. So we were kind of apprehensive about playing at first. I think everybody was, but once we got into it, we were having a great time.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was a good time. So
we do that for our work socials. You know, we'll get together, everyone will chat for a while, and then eventually one of our coworkers has all the Jackbox games on Steam, and she'll load it up, share her screen. Everyone will log in with their phones, and we'll just play for a few hours. It's great. Nice.
Yeah, that's what you do. You log in and then you go to Jackbox.tv or something like that. Yep. Put in your name, and that's how you play it right on your phone. So you don't even need a controller from the Switch. You can play it right on your phone on the TV. So yeah, it's a great time. So we had a great time with it. So I can't wait to see what happens at Christmas time. So
Jackbox, that's neat.
So
nice. I'll have to check that one out.
A little bit about Sequence. Came out in 1982. 2 to 12 players.
Yep.
Ages 7 and up. The complexity weighting is 1.34 out of 5. And believe it or not, you can get brand new unopened original Sequence game with the folding board on eBay for $25.90.
Nice.
There's some used ones in here for less, but what fun is that? You got to get a brand new one. Oh, here's a rolling one, the jumbo Sequence with the rolling board. I saw that on Board Game Geek. It's very, very neat. I like this. I like the whole.
It's a wild time, and like you said, I mean, obviously anybody can play it. It's basically you're just playing with cards in your hand. So
nice.
Yep, it's a good time.
Is this getting added to the Geek Pod collection too, Kevin?
I think so. I think so.
Perfect.
I might have to figure out how to get Jackbox too.
I have a Switch. We can do it off of the Switch.
Do you have to do it off of Switch? What are the other options?
No, he said you can do it off of Steam too.
Computer, any of the consoles or a computer will do it. The issue is if you're not all in the same place, then you have to have somebody with the ability to share that. Now, I've played it with my kids by when the pandemic started. What I would do is I would go on my PlayStation and I would broadcast on Twitch, and they would join on Twitch and then log into the game with their app, so we all could play together. I mean, you do this computer shit for a living. I'm sure you could figure out how to make that work much better than I could.
Man,
I did have somebody over the last week and a half try to explain to me how to get a TV to display Netflix.
While you were on vacation?
And I was just sitting there. I was just listening.
Nodding your head. Mm-hmm. All right, boys, what do you think? I think we kick it to commercial and then come back to the news?
Sounds like a plan to me.
Sounds good.
All right. Okay. All three of you, stay tuned. We'll be right back. Looking for the hottest new comic on the shelf or a key back issue to complete your run? How about that rare statue or action figure that you've scoured the internet looking for? Come to Collectibles Galore, located in North Syracuse with ample off-street parking. Collectibles Galore has a huge selection of comics, toys, and rare pop culture items you won't find anywhere else. Comics Galore is always buying comics and toys and will give you the fairest price for your collection. New customers get 15% off their first purchase in store. Collectibles Galore for all of your pop culture needs. Stop in and see for yourself why Collectibles Galore is the king of comics.
Now, before any of you complain that last week's news was too focused on the beach volleyball players that have junk in the top bunk, here's the news. First up, styling, profiling, and unemployment line filing. Iconic pro wrestler and mummified erection, Ric Flair, was released by the WWE this past week. Now, it was part of a large list of releases, a lot of which have people scratching their heads. Kind of makes it look like they're trying to shoot themselves in the foot because all these people are getting let go and they're going immediately to AEW, which is really, really raising its profile and picking up steam. Now, Flair said that that was on good terms, that they didn't see eye to eye on some business deals and opportunities that he had. Now, this is Ric motherfucking Flair. You know, if he says, I want to do something, you let him do it. You don't let him go to the competition. I mean, this guy is, you know, even rappers and hip hop artists are saying the reason they do the shit they do is because of Ric Flair, all the styling and profiling, the bling, the watches, the limo rides. They're coming out and saying that's all from him, when they saw him when they were kids. So, I mean, this guy still at his age has a direct line into pop culture. My 9-year-old knows what woo is. You know, I mean, he's a meme. He is a legend. I just got to say, I think it's a crazy idea. And I just got to wonder if maybe Stephanie took a ride on Space Mountain or something, and there's some bad blood there now. Next up, I could have been richer than Captain America. Now, I'm sure you guys saw this, but there's a little lawsuit going on in the House of Mouse. Scarlett Johansson is suing them over her residuals on Black Widow. Now, a big part of this was the fact that they decided to release it on Disney Plus as well as in theaters. And they are saying that she is missing out on possibly as much as $50 million in payouts because of what they did. Now, she's suing them, saying that, you know, they should have had to talk about this and they should have had to change it because it goes against her contract. They've shot back and said, well, she's an awful human being who wanted people to go to the movies during COVID, which, I mean, that's like, you know, blaming the victim, you know, to a degree. I mean, it looks bad on Disney's part. And really, I mean, all she wanted to do was be equal to her male co-stars. If you look at, you know, Evans and Downey and Ruffalo, I mean, they all have back-end deals where they get a percentage of the box office. And, you know, traditionally, she's not really had that on the movies, and she really should, because she was in the first one. I mean, I would say that, you know, as far as if you're looking at the core group of Avengers through all those movies, she absolutely is just as important as those characters as well. And she has as much, if not more, screen time in those movies. I mean, really, she only wanted as much black in her ledger as the guys had. And I don't think that's a bad thing. Finally, I Am Stupid. Now, I don't know if you've seen this, but there's a new meme going around where a lot of people are using the movie I Am Legend starring Will Smith as a meme to say vaccines are bad. The basic idea is this movie is about a cancer treatment, a modified gene that turns the world into zombie/vampire things. Really, really good fucking movie if you haven't seen it. But what they're doing is the people are actually using this as their argument for not getting vaccinated. They're saying, you know, I saw this movie and I'm afraid that that's going to happen to me. Now, some people are positing that maybe they're only doing this because by using the meme on Facebook, they're avoiding the fact checkers that Facebook employs to put that little tag on there that says, hey, this might be bullshit about the vaccine. You guys have all seen it.
Yes.
But you know, even if some people are doing that, there are way more idiots who really believe if they get vaccinated, they're going to turn into crazy hairless zombies. Hairless CGI zombies, in fact. Now, the screenwriter of the movie, Akiva Goldman, who's done a ton of stuff, went on Twitter and said, and I'm going to quote this, "Oh my God, it's a movie I made that up. It's not real. I mean, really, I don't even need to make a joke there. Come the fuck on. So that's the news, kids. Now, things are going to go a little different here because originally I'd written a little bit last week, when we were supposed to record about, talking to Paul, and he'd asked me to take a look at his, Fulton, New York focused Plenty of Fish profile that we talked about the previous week. And, he wanted me to take a look at it. And so the whole bit was I did. And I said, listen, you can't use that line. So he demanded that I go and find visual proof that Wild Bill's Jerky Chew already used the line, "You don't need teeth to enjoy my beef." I thought it was a pretty good joke. I see you guys are reacting. But something happened right before, we came to record. I was sitting downstairs and I was searching on the news. What I was looking for is information about the cyber symposium that Mike Lindell, the pillow guy, is putting on right now. I don't know if you know about this, but basically the pillow guy is a big Trump supporter. He's been saying that he has all this information that proves the election was fake, and he's holding a 3-day streaming symposium where he's supposed to release all of this information. And I've been tracking it, just because it's always interesting to see the ridiculous bullshit that comes out if you're not paying attention. Basically, he started off yesterday, and they had technical difficulties. And I swear to God, this is what he said. I'm quoting him. "The whole technology was attacked. We need to get the word out because they blocked the thing." Okay, they blocked the thing. Not we don't know what we're doing. And they've even had technical issues today, and they're saying they're being hacked and Deep State is going after them and trying to shut them down. Nobody wants to bother with putting the effort to shut them down. Mostly so far, it's been a lot of pictures and made up shit. And all of this big information, 10 o'clock Eastern time yesterday, the big information was supposed to hit. And right before then he goes, "They raided our offices. They took the hard drives. We don't have anything." It's all a ploy because between all of these ridiculous sets they're doing, they're also fundraising. So, that's what it's about. That's really what this whole thing was about. So I was Google searching, and I just wanted to see what was going on. And I'm on Chrome, and I searched Mike Lindell Symposium. A picture of him pops up, and my stomach goes, and I suddenly realize, oh my God, I'm going to shit myself. I jump up and I run to the bathroom. I almost leaped over the gate. I run into the bathroom, get down on the toilet, and it was like an explosion. So since, lying about things and saying things without proof are pretty much how we do things these days, I am going to go ahead and I'm going to have my own little cyber symposium right now. And I'm going to state for the record, Mike Lindell is targeting me and trying to get me to shit myself. Now, I don't know what his deal is. I don't know if he's using brown noise or weaponized 5PU. I have no idea exactly what's going on. Why does this goofy Paul Bear looking motherfucker have a problem with me? I don't know. But, obviously he wants me to shit myself. Now, I have proof, and I'm going to release that proof in 2 weeks, maybe. I'm thinking about it. I have about 50 shitabytes of data proving he wants us all to crap our pants, to soil our britches, to drop the kids off at the back door with no exit. Now, I got to tell you guys, our government is not going to protect us from the MyPillow guy. Our military is not going to protect us from the MyPillow guy. It is up to us to protect ourselves from the MyPillow guy. Load up on Tums and bring Depends, motherfuckers. Paul?
In other news, hypnotism is banned in public schools in San Diego. Back to you, Corbs.
All right.
How do you follow that?
Yeah, you don't. There's no way to follow that. He's got me hypnotized anyway, so.
There's so much.
That's what I do.
I'm trying to think if I'm happier about the zombie thing. They're talking about Will Smith instead of, Walking Dead, or if I'm happier about the fact that all these idiots are just going to bankrupt themselves following other idiots. I don't know which I'm happier about.
Remember Lemmings, the game?
Yeah.
Or the animal, for that matter.
Yeah. I just, these things, they always take care of themselves.
Except when they don't. They're not.
Look, they got Cuomo out of office. This'll pass.
13 days.
13 days.
When do we release these? 10 days. It's 10 days now.
Whatever.
We're in the future, remember?
That's true.
Why don't you get yourself a stiff drink, Corbs, and tell us about the movie you're doing?
All right. Well, in case you're wondering, I am the last barman poet. I see America drinking the fabulous cocktails I make. America's getting stinky on something I stir or shake. The sex on the beach, the schnapps made from peach, the velvet hammer, the Alabama slammer. I make things with juice and froth, the pink squirrel, the three-toed sloth. I make drinks so sweet and snazzy, the iced tea, the kamikaze, the orgasm, the death spasm, the Singapore sling, the ding-a-ling. America, you've just been devoted to every flavor I got. But if you want to get loaded, why don't you just order a shot? All right. That to me is the best scene from the movie that I'm doing right now. And I'm hoping some of you guys know this movie without me having to say it. But we're going to go ahead and do Cocktail.
I love that movie.
Yeah, it's a good movie. Starring Tom Cruise, Elizabeth Shue.
Mm-hmm.
She is his love interest. It's released in 1988, which I thought it was released a little bit earlier than that, so I was kind of shocked at that one. I don't know why I thought it was released. I thought it was released like 1987, 86, somewhere in that area. But directed by Roger Donaldson, Cocktail follows Tom Cruise's ambitious Brian Flanagan. As he reluctantly begins working as a bartender to make ends meet. Filmmaker Donaldson works from Haywood Gould's screenplay. He does an effective job of literally luring the viewers into some plotless proceedings. This Cocktail kicks off with the entertainment lightning open stretch involving Brian's initial entry into the world of bartending. So, I mean, I'm not going to get too much into the movie because I'm assuming everybody's seen it. Please tell me you've seen it. Okay. Basically, it's a movie about bartending, about the flair of bartending. You know, how we spin the bottle, flip the bottle, and Tom Cruise's character is trying to make money to open up a bar in a strip mall type bar that is open across the country type of thing, and people shoot him down across the board. He ends up working for a guy. I can't remember the guy's name now. I just had it. Brian Brown. He plays Doug. I can't remember Doug's last name. He's a bartender at bar, so he hires Cruise. They work together, become really good friends. They have a falling out over a girl. Tom Cruise ends up in Jamaica, working as a bartender in Jamaica to make money for his bar that he opens. Falls in love with Elizabeth Shue's character while he's there. So it just goes back and forth. It's kind of a drama, love story-ish type of movie. But again, it's one of those movies that I like to watch when it's on. Obviously, I like the one scene where he does the poem there that I read, which I think is just hysterical. The one before it, the guy that the first yuppie poet recites. I don't remember that one, and I'm not gonna go look for it. But it's a good movie. Out of 5 stars, I give it 3 stars. I do watch it when it's on. I don't watch the whole thing. I don't watch it all the way through. There are some kind of dull spots in it and stuff like that, but it's a decent movie. I'm not sure it's one of Tom Cruise's top 10, although it might be. I don't know.
I like the music.
Yeah, good 80s music in it, which is always a good
John
staple.
Stamos.
John
Beach
Stamos.
Boys. Yes.
Yep.
How do you feel if you're the actual drummer from the Beach Boys and you get replaced by John Stamos just for that?
Well, he wasn't really. I mean, would you consider him the drummer? He's playing the freaking bongos, or whatever.
Percussion. Just saying.
I mean, I do remember that video.
It was a staple of our youth.
That's back when MTV actually played music videos.
Yes. For that 4-year span. Yes.
Not like fucking reality TV all the fucking time.
I've been in the service a year when it came out, but that's okay. You can call it your youth. That's fine.
Dude, I was 12. I'm sorry. Yes, I had just turned 12 at this point.
I was 13.
I had turned 12 literally a week before.
Yeah.
Because this came out, and I'm looking at it because I have the Ebert thing. July 29th, 1988. 1 week into my 12th year.
Still weren't even able to drink at that time.
Legally.
That's true.
I grew up in the sticks. We were drinking at like 10.
Didn't you have alcohol in your baby
Bottle? Yeah.
A little whiskey?
Probably a little Jack.
That's what they used to do.
I don't like it now. I can't drink that shit anymore.
That's because you had it too much when you were a child.
Yeah. I'm allergic to handcuffs. That's the problem.
Don't tell Kristen that.
Well, if you were 12, that means I was 13. So I was probably already playing in bands with adults, and they were giving me all the beer I could drink. So I was probably busy drinking rather than watching movies about drinking.
He was inspired by Stamos. He was the bongo guy at 13.
I was the rhythm guitarist. I've never seen Cocktail.
I've seen parts, and I remember I was very disturbed by the suicide scene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, when his buddy Doug kills himself. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's more disturbing. Yeah. I don't know if, I mean, I've read more about the movie itself and about that scene, talking with the director and stuff. Apparently, I didn't realize this, and I don't know if it's mentioned in the movie, but the reason he kills himself is his wife, who tries to sleep with Tom Cruise's character when they go home. Apparently, they're broke. Like, he invested in a bunch of stuff, and it all went belly up, and they don't have any more money, so they don't have anything.
Yikes.
That's why he ends up killing himself, because he's depressed or whatnot. I didn't realize that when obviously when you first watched the movie, I kind of thought it was, he assumed that they slept together, and
Kapow.
And he shows back up and he's dead. I was like, oh, that's pretty fucking twisted.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't that her money too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was. Yeah, because when he comes down to when they come to Jamaica, he's married, and he says, "Oh, I married money." And the girl who actually is the female lead in Roadhouse too. That's who that girl is.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So she's the one that's got the money. So her family was loaded apparently, and he invested in like hedge funds or something like that and lost it all. So, and that's why he ends up killing himself.
Right.
So,
but I don't know, like you're saying, I don't know if that's really spelled out clearly in the movie.
Yeah. So, I don't know.
Well, our good buddy Roger Ebert, he agrees with you, Corbs. He also gives it 3 stars.
He's actually smart though.
This week he's smart. He's on it this week.
And
he says, Cocktail tells the story of 2 bartenders and their adventures in 6 bars and several bedrooms. What is remarkable, given the subject, is how little the movie knows about bars or drinking. Early in the film, there's a scene where the 2 bartenders stage an elaborately choreographed act behind the bar. They juggle bottles in unison. One spins ice cubes into the air, and the other one catches them. And then they flip bottles at each other like a couple of circus jugglers. All this is done to rock and roll music, and it takes them about 4 minutes to make 2 drinks. They get a roaring ovation from the customers in their crowded bar, which is a tip-off to the movie's glossy phoniness. This isn't bartending, it's a music video, and real drinkers wouldn't applaud. They'd shout, "Shut up and pour!" The bartenders in the film are played by Tom Cruise as a young ex-serviceman who dreams of becoming a millionaire, and Brian Brown is a hard-bitten veteran who has lots of cynical advice. Brown advises Cruise to keep his eyes open for a rich chick, because that's his ticket to someday opening his own bar. Cruise is ready for this advice. He studies self-help books and believes that he'll be rich someday, if only he gets that big break. The movie is supposed to be about how he outgrows his materialism, although the closing scenes leave room for enormous doubt about his redemption. The first part of the movie works the best. That's when Cruz drops out of school, becomes a full-time bartender, makes Brown his best friend, and learns to juggle those bottles. In the real world, Cruz and Brown would be fired for their time-wasting grandstanding behind the bar. But in this movie, they get hired to work in a fancy disco where they have a fight over a girl and Cruz heads to Jamaica. There, as elsewhere, his twinkling eyes and friendly smile seem irresistible to women on the other side of the bar, and he lives in a world of one-night stands. That's made possible by the fact that no one in this movie has ever heard of AIDS. I love the fact that this stuff hits because I've never read it beforehand. Not even the rich female fashion executive, played by Lisa Baines, who picks Cruz up and takes him back to Manhattan with her. What do you think? Do you believe a millionaire Manhattan woman executive in her 30s would sleep with a wildly promiscuous bartender she picks up on the beach? Not unless she was seriously drunk. And that's another area this movie knows little about. The actual effects of drinking. Sure, Cruz gets tanked a couple of times and staggers around a little and throws a few punches. But given the premise that he and Brown drink all the time, shouldn't they be drunk or hungover or at least most of the time? Not in this fantasy world. If the film had stuck to the relationship between Cruz and Brown, it might have had a chance. It makes a crucial error when it introduces a love story involving Cruz and Elizabeth Shue as a vacationing waitress from New York. They find true love, which is shattered when Shue sees Cruz with the rich Manhattan executive. After the executive takes Cruz back to New York and tries to turn him into a pampered stud, he realizes his mistake and apologizes to Shue, only to discover, of course, that she is pregnant and rich. The last stages of the movie were written, directed, and acted on automatic pilot. As Shue's millionaire daddy tries to throw Cruz out of the penthouse, but love triumphs. There is not a moment in the movie's last half hour that is not borrowed from other movies, and eventually, even the talented and graceful Cruz can be seen laboring with the ungainly reversals in the script. Shue, who does whatever is possible with her role, is handicapped because her character is denied the freedom to make natural choices. At every moment, her actions are dictated by the artificial demands of the plot. It's a shame the filmmakers didn't take a longer, harder look at this material. The movie's most interesting character is the older bartender, superbly played by Brown, who never has a false moment. If the film had been told from his point of view, it would have been a lot more interesting, but box office considerations no doubt require the center of gravity to shift to Cruz and Shue. One of the weirdest things about Cocktail is the so-called message it thinks it contains. Cruz is painted throughout the film as a cynical, success-oriented 80s materialist who wants only to meet a rich woman and own his own bar. That's why Shue doesn't tell him at first that she's rich. Toward the end of the movie, there's a scene where he allegedly chooses love over money, but then, a few months later, he is the owner and operator of his own slick Manhattan singles bar. How did he finance it? There's a throwaway line about how he got some money from his uncle, a subsistence-level bartender who can't even afford a late-model car. Sure, it costs a fortune to open a slick singles bar in Manhattan, and so we are left with the assumption that Cruz's rich father-in-law came through with the financing. If the movie didn't want to leave that impression, it shouldn't have ended with the scene in the bar. But then, this is the kind of movie that uses Cruz's materialism as a target all through the story, and then rewards him for it in the end. The more you think about what happens in Cocktail, the more you realize how empty and fabricated it really is. And this is a movie he apparently liked.
Wow.
He gave it 3 stars.
Yeah, he even said, hey, the characters did what was in the script, and that was wrong. I mean,
I'm surprised he didn't end with "fuck you, fucking fuckers."
It was a feel good movie. You know, it was fun, and you could live vicariously through the characters. That's the reason to like it. I mean, once you dive into the story, well, yeah, you're gonna find holes.
But
apparently, Cruz found a lot of holes in that movie.
Apparently, at least one.
All of them.
All the holes. Even Brian Brown's, and that's why he kills himself.
But he's talking about like Cruz being materialistic in the movie and stuff like that. I didn't see him coming off like that. I didn't see him like actually physically going out and looking for a rich woman. Like he didn't. I mean, he was sleeping around. I mean, obviously, but that's what. No offense, in the '80s, that's what bartenders did.
Ooh.
He kind of scoffed at his mentor's ideas, as I remember it.
Yeah, I mean, that's the same thing. I didn't foresee him thinking like him saying, "Oh, I'm just going to go out and marry, get involved with some rich girl or some rich family or whatever, and open a bar." You know, the way I read it was he wanted to do it on his own, and that's exactly what he did. Maybe he did borrow the money from his uncle, which that's what I got the assumption from, was he borrowed the money from his uncle to open his bar. Because his uncle was a bartender, I think, in the beginning of the movie, if I recall it correctly. You know, and uncle said he's never given away a free drink in his life at his bar. You know, when Cruz says, "Oh, drinks around the house," his uncle like freaks out or whatever. You know, I didn't see him as being materialistic. I saw him as just being a guy that was trying to fulfill his dream of opening a bar that you could have. It basically could be in any shopping town, any shopping mall, any strip mall.
There's nothing in shopping town.
That's true. Not yet.
And that's why we scraped together funds and we put our own bar in shopping town, a Geek Pod bar.
There you go. Kev's like, no.
Come on, Hugh. We can learn how to flip bottles and shit, like in the movie that you haven't seen.
That might not be a good idea. I am pretty clumsy. I am clumsy to the fact, here's a throwback to our little investigation at Split Rock Quarry. Tonight, while I did beef short ribs in the pressure cooker. So I had like an hour where I could actually go out and get in my pool for like the second time this year. And when I got out, I'm walking down the steps and I see in front of me, oh, the dog left a turd over here. So I step to the side to try to get around it, step in a hole, twist my ankle, fall over on my right side. You know where I'm bleeding?
That same spot on your knee?
The left side of my knee, not the right side. And under it, it's a new cut. It's not bad or anything, but I'm like, motherfucker, second time in a row, I've fallen on my left side, but cut the right side of my knee.
How does that work?
It's like the injuries are passing through my kneecap to the other side. You know, like those little balls in the doctor's office, you drop it and it.
Yeah. Excuse me. Exactly. On that note, I think we'll cut the commercial break and we'll come back and wrap the show up.
What does it say? Something.
I can't see it.
Stop.
So you can't get it. There you go. Stop the shit.
I'm protesting.
Could you not have went with "Stop the Poops"? Because then we could use it as a title. What the fuck, dude?
Well, we still can. We can make the title whatever we want.
I mean, Apple Podcasts.
Well, you can make it "Stop the Poops." You're the one who types it in, Paul. We've now said "Stop the Poops," so it works.
There you go.
Don't be shackled by reason.
God damn it!
I like typo poop.
Are you picking on one of my favorite bands?
What did you say?
He said he likes type O poop. Peter Steele would fuck you up.
If he wasn't dead.
Yeah.
There's that.
Anyway, you were trying to go to break when I hijacked.
Let's go to break.
Before you go to break, the actress's name is Kelly Lynch.
Yes. Very good.
She wasn't in the list. God damn it. Oh, look, there's my write-up for next week's. Never mind.
Hey, control your mustache, okay?
I barely have one. I had to shave it for work. It's trimmed down again.
Because you were starting to look too much like a boy?
What?
Because you were starting to look too much like a boy?
I was looking like it was a real beard. I'm not allowed to have those at work. So
there's like nobody in your office. How the fuck do they know? Kevin's the only one in your office.
You know what? That doesn't make any sense. You work at a law firm. If I'm getting a lawyer, someone who's going to fight for me to get me what I deserve, I want that motherfucker to have a beard. I want him to not have time to shave because he's too busy kicking ass for me. I know you're not actually a lawyer, but still.
It's there.
It should still, I mean, you know, they lead by example. Come on.
Sure they do.
These guys don't do that.
Do they lead at all?
All right, let's head to break, guys. We'll be back in 5, guys. Check out the commercials. Looking for the hottest new comic on the shelf or a key back issue to complete your run? How about that rare statue or action figure that you've scoured the internet looking for? Come to Collectibles Galore, located in North Syracuse with ample off-street parking. Collectibles Galore has a huge selection of comics, toys, and rare pop culture items you won't find anywhere else. Comics Galore is always buying comics and toys and will give you the fairest price for your collection. New customers get 15% off their first purchase in store. Collectibles Galore for all of your pop culture needs. Stop in and see for yourself why Collectibles Galore is the king of comics. And we are back with the same commercials you saw last time. But seriously, go check out Collectibles Galore and check out Grid After Dark. I see he just launched their Facebook page.
Saw that.
So go check out their stuff. I'm assuming they're going to post the new stuff soon. Anyway, so before we get into what we're streaming, I have a couple of topics I wanted to hit on. One of which spun out of my vacation. The kids, meaning mine as well as my nieces and nephews, took to using a new slang term, and I'm wondering if you guys have ever heard this term. Bussing.
Throwing somebody under the bus?
It's not. Apparently this is the new way of saying how awesome things are. Like these French fries are totally bussin'.
No.
I can't even figure out
That's
what
incorrect.
stupidity that's supposed to connect to.
No idea, but it was definitely a thing for like 4 days, and I really wanted to suck on the end of a pistol by the time we were done.
That's exactly why they did it. It was nothing real. It was all about.
Oh no, it's real because
Getting under your skin.
I looked it up. It's real slang. It's on Urban Dictionary, which I will link to in the show notes. And apparently, to really like drive home how great something is with this, you use it multiple times. So if these cheese fries are bussin', they're really fucking great.
So this is the new fire.
New fire?
Yeah, new fire. Because
Okay.
you used to. I mean, the last thing I knew,
That
my
shit's fire?
teenagers
Yes.
said, "Yeah,
Well, this was my reality for 4 days. And when I started getting irritated with that while we were sitting in a delightful seafood restaurant called the Ice House, they decided to switch things up and everything was potato. So this cheeseburger was so potato, to which I busted out to them, guys, stop trying to make fetch happen.
what?"
No one? Corbs, you're a retro movie guy. You've got to get that. It's a 90s movie reference.
Assuming it's a Kevin Smith movie, but
No.
no.
No, it was Clueless.
So are we.
I'm clueless. I've seen the movie. I don't remember that from the movie.
It actually was on not too long ago. I think it was on like USA or something, and that's probably why I was in the forefront for me. But there was the one girl in the group that kept trying to make that the hip thing was everything was fetch. That's so fetch, and they kept yelling at her to stop trying to make fetch happen. So I busted that out on the kids, knowing full well they'd have no idea what I was talking about. But
They didn't, did they?
no.
I gotta ask, the Ice House. Was that in Old Orchard?
No, that was back in Portsmouth, New Hampshire. Really, really good seafood place. Phenomenal
I've heard of the Ice
stuff.
House before.
We used to have one too.
Yeah, in Mexico.
Yeah.
There was an Ice House. Bands played there a lot.
Yep. It was like a small, hole in the wall bar here, but it got some notoriety. Yeah.
I think it might have been a restaurant and a banquet hall as well, maybe.
Could have been.
People got married there and shit.
I don't know why anyone would do that. But moving on.
What, get married?
Yeah, that. Why do that? Before we get into what we're all streaming this week and in the upcoming weeks, Hugh, we had something weird happen with the feed, didn't we?
Yeah, you were telling me about that this week.
Yeah, so hardly anybody saw episode 109 on YouTube. 4 people got to watch it before shit went down. And that's because we had a copyright claim thrown at us. Apparently we were infringing on a copyright for a Japanese artist, represented by Sony Music Entertainment Japan division. And I would give you the name of the artist as well as the title of the song that we were supposedly stealing, except that when I disputed the fact, because we aren't, and our theme music is by Jamus Breed and it's called Sunday Mourning, which we were giving exclusive rights to by Mr. Dennis Johnson. When I explained all that to YouTube, our Japanese friends turned tail and ran. So we won the dispute rather quickly, but it kind of killed our numbers for last episode. So if you guys want to go back and watch last episode now, it's up and available again. So Sony, you can fuck right off because we didn't steal your shit.
We fought the Sony and won.
Yes, we did.
We beat Sony. How fucking cool is that?
Fuck me.
That's right. Fuck those fuckers. But yeah, seriously, guys, go back and watch episode 109 because we need you to bump those numbers up. Those are rookie numbers right now.
How many people are watching our episodes?
People are. It all depends. They fluctuate. What?
I download them.
You download them and never watch them?
Well, he's here.
He's watching them live.
No, I have to watch them because there's a lot of stuff that we don't talk about or show live.
Right.
Like the advertisements. I never get to see them if I don't watch the recording.
That's true.
We could put those in the Google Drive. Because, dude, I feel bad that you sit through an extra 2 hours of this horse shit every week.
Well, don't think of it like that. When I'm working, I just like to have noise on in the background, so I'm not really paying any attention to it.
So we are that noise.
So,
nice.
I mean, I got to listen to Paul anyway, so I might as well listen to the podcast.
Do you ever have trouble mistaking what he's saying in the podcast for what he's saying next to you? Do you ever get confused?
No, because I don't pay attention to any of it.
either the podcast or Paul?
This
I
is fair.
wouldn't pay attention to him either. So I mean,
Yeah, this is fair.
It's just and then I just say, send me the email,
Right.
and I just
Email
deal with it.
All right. Anything else before we jump into the midstream here? All right, guys. So first, circling back to our last episode, you asked me about what I thought about Masters of the Universe Revelations.
Yes.
Well, I have since procured a Netflix subscription and have watched.
No. Did
What?
you really?
I did.
You were fighting it.
I was fighting it, but you can go right into Walmart and buy a gift card. And they'll give you a couple of months for it.
Oh, okay. Well,
That's what I did. I didn't actually sign up. I mean, I reactivated my old account, but used that as the payment method. Watched all 5 episodes in a sitting. I loved it.
Yeah.
It was a phenomenal show. Yes, it's the Tila show, but you know what? It makes sense. And it's half of the story. And all I gotta say is they got fucking Tony Todd to basically be like their version of Satan.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Stargirl. That was fucking awesome. There are a lot of what the hell's going on up there? Lot of great voice actors in that. I mean, Sarah Michelle Gellar is Tila. Come on.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I did get a chuckle out of the quick cameo by Jamus in there playing Stinkor. That was cool. And the other two, you have not watched the new He-Man, have you? No. It's good. And what isn't it? Is it Henry Rollins?
Yes.
That is Triclops, who is like the techno Jesus.
Yeah.
I love that. That is so great. There's so much cool shit happening in there. And then the final moments of episode 5 is just a holy shit factor. That was great. Just when you think that some of the former villains have turned a new leaf. Yeah. All shit breaks loose and it was very well thought out. Like the mythology, like how the jumping off point from the original series and what they've done with it. And it's so much fun to just go through it and try and pick out the voices.
Yeah, I agree.
Because, I mean, we've got Mark Hamill, we've got Kevin Conroy, the fucking Batman is in there. Justin Long was a voice in there.
Yep. Yeah, I was just looking at it on the Wicca.
Yes. And I mean, you're going to get the greatest hits of all of Kevin Smith's friends. They're all in there. And his daughter's there. I'm surprised his wife didn't have a hand in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She doesn't get involved in this shit very often, does she?
She's in the movies.
Is she? I never noticed she was in the movies. I had no idea.
She was in Strike Back. She was one of the cat burglars.
Okay.
She was Missy. She was in Clerks 2. She was Dante's fiance that he fucked around on.
I didn't know that.
Yep. And then she was in Reboot. She was the manager at the movies that Silent Bob fucks.
Okay.
So yeah, she's done time in the movies. So I was surprised. And she's done podcasts with him. They used to do Plus One. It was the two of them.
What's her name?
Jennifer Schwalbach.
Mrs. Smith.
Right.
Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
That was not a good movie.
I liked it.
I didn't like it.
Lots of explosions.
Good action, but I didn't. Yeah. But yeah, so as with anything, Kevin Smith, I loved it at the Masters as well.
I bet.
Yes.
Angelina Jolie could sit in a room in a chair and do nothing, and I would watch it.
I did definitely like the dominatrix outfit scene. That was definitely okay with me. Now I have to add this to the list so we can link to that too, Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
People are going to look at these links and be like, what the fuck?
Oh, speaking of Netflix, I watched Gunpowder Milkshake.
Oh, you
watched
did.
it.
I did.
It's on my list before my shit runs out. Along with
fun.
Army of the Dead.
It's a good movie. It was
It's fun.
Movie. Yeah. Yep. I enjoyed it. I watched it.
Good.
I like Karen. Is it Gillan?
Gillian?
Yep.
Right.
Amy
Gillian?
Pond.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm looking to you, Hugh, for the pronunciation on that one.
Karen Gillan.
Thank you. To me, she's Nebula or the chick in the really short shorts from Jumanji.
Ruby Roundhouse.
Yeah, she played.
She'll
a cool
always
part.
be Amy Pond to me.
She was in Doctor Who. Doctor Who, if you guys don't know. She wasn't in Doctor Who, I don't think. I would
That
give you
would be
props for that one.
awkward.
Yeah.
You'd give me props if she fucked me.
You seen her?
Yeah. Well, talking about fun movies, because I mean, that's what it sounds like. In Corbs, would you say Gunpowder Milkshake is just a fun movie?
Yeah, it's just a fun movie.
I ran across a series of fun movies the past week. There's some super independent films. It's the Hotel Inferno series. Now, there are 3 movies so far. I'm not sure how many are planned, but basically the idea behind this is imagine if they made a Doom video game movie, but Hollywood didn't fuck it up. It starts off with a hitman hired to kill somebody, but you actually, the entire thing's first person. And throughout the entire movie, or all 3 movies so far, you only hear the guy's voice. You don't see him because it literally is first person, the whole thing. And it is eventually, what looks like just a regular hitman thing devolves in him ending up in hell and having to find 5 seals in order to return to Earth to try to defeat. And so he's in hell fighting demons and shit. And this is all practical effects, all super ridiculously gory. Like, you can't let your kids watch this. It's fucking awful. But here's the thing. They're playing it straight. They're not, yeah. Some of the effects aren't as good as Hollywood's effects, but you can tell that the people making these they love this. They're putting their heart and soul into these. They want to make a gore, splatter, crazy video game type movie. And
Nice.
I just devoured the first 3. And it's literally like there's the setup in the first movie, and then the next 2 movies, each one is him getting one of the seals. Like, it's like each movie is a level. So the landscape changes, it's like, the last one, it's kind of like the ice level of a video game. Really freaking cool. I mean, so some of the stuff they come up with, you can tell by looking at it that if Hollywood did it, it'd look a lot better, but it's still great. And you're going to have a hard time finding these movies. They're tough to get a hold of unless you order them right from Necrovision, which is the company that makes them. Because they're foreign movies, but I don't know if they did English voiceovers or if they recorded them in English, but they're certainly available that way. Check it out. It's good.
Nice.
If you're into that kind of thing.
You know what else was pretty over the top gory?
What's that?
The Suicide Squad.
It was.
Loved it.
It was great.
It was so much fun. I watched it last night. Such a good movie. It moved me enough to actually tweet from the GeekPod account to James Gunn and call him a magnificent twisted bastard.
Oh, yeah.
It was so good. I'm sorry, magnificent twisted genius is what I went with. Yes.
It was weird too. The sound design of the movie was different because you noticed there were a lot of spots where there was no music, where it felt like there should be music.
Yes.
But it seems like it was done on purpose, and then the spots that have music are great. But oh my god, I mean, I don't want to spoil anything. Corbs, Kev, both of you need to watch this movie. It is
so good.
I definitely will.
And hilarious.
Kev hasn't had much time right now.
I like the first one. I mean, a lot of people are down on the first one, but I like the first one.
I went into the first one with very
one.
low expectations, so I actually enjoyed it.
Yeah, me too.
But I mean, you cannot go wrong. First of all, the movie opens with Johnny Cash and Folsom Prison Blues. They had me right there. And then the first person we see is Michael Rooker. So I was sold on that.
Yeah.
Just know, if you guys haven't watched it yet, what you start with is not what you end with.
Yeah, a lot of
phenomenal
people die. You know what? I was shocked. I'm looking for Nathan Fillion throughout the entire film to find out he was TDK. I had no idea. They take a very recognizable actor and they put a helmet on him so you don't even know who he is.
Yes, I knew by the voice. As soon as he spoke, I knew that was Fillion. But that's so good. So much cool stuff. And like halfway through the movie almost switches gears, wouldn't you say, Hugh?
Yeah.
Great movie. I couldn't be happier. Again, Gunn knocks out of the park.
This is on par with Guardians of the Galaxy.
Definitely.
As good as those. I mean, it's like that level of good.
Definitely, just with so much more over the top violence.
Yeah.
And please tell me you caught Lloyd Kaufman's cameo in it.
I didn't know.
You didn't. Oh my God. Lloyd Kaufman of Trauma fame. He evolved Tromeo and Juliet.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of the ones that people would know.
Was that Toxic Avenger? Was that
Yes,
one of their? Yeah.
Toxie. Yeah. Sherry's gonna kill us because of one she was in that we're forgetting. Scary Sherry. It was something to do with a high school.
Nukem High.
Thank you. She was part 2, I believe. Right?
Yeah.
That's how we met her.
I think I've seen
friend of
that
the show.
movie.
I mean, we have too. Definitely parts 2 and part 3.
What was his part?
When they're in that bar, he walks by as they're walking by them, and I did a triple take. It's fucking Uncle Lloyd. Also, John Ostrander, famous comic book writer, has a cameo in it.
Didn't catch that either.
He is the one that injects Rooker's character at the beginning of the movie with the brain bomb. I'm not giving away anything that means anything to you guys. Trust me. But phenomenal movie. I can see where they can spin it into a sequel. Definitely.
I heard they're making a Peacemaker
show.
Yeah,
Yep.
I think they're already done. They've wrapped on season 1 on that, as far as I know.
Have they?
Yeah.
I was wondering how that was going to work for a while.
So was I.
Yep.
Loved his character though.
Oh my God, he was so funny. He was great in that movie. I love him.
I think that and along with the TV show, if it's as good, might be the breakout role he's been looking to kind of take the next step.
You mean not Toretto's brother? That's not going to be his role. That's
no. I mean, he's kind of been in the Rock shadow because the Rock kind of made it big. But he had a couple. I mean, the first Scorpion King, it was good. Yeah. Looked like he was going to go right back to wrestling, and that was it. It took a few tries. Cena definitely showed that he can knock it out of the park.
Yeah,
right material.
Phenomenal, and apparently very true to the comic, from what I understand. So,
what was that one awesome movie that Cena made? The
Marine.
The Marine. Yeah, I love that movie.
I haven't seen that.
You haven't seen that movie?
I'm absolutely joking. I'm absolutely joking. It's one of the worst movies you'll ever see.
And they went and made a bunch of sequels with
other wrestlers. Yes.
It's horrible.
Yeah, Ted DiBiase did the second one, and then The Miz did the next 4. They made 6 of them.
Oh my God, really?
Yeah, the first one was released in the theaters, and everyone after that was a direct to video.
Direct to Walmart.
I've never seen any of the sequels.
They did that shit for the Marine, but they totally buried Kane's See No Evil. That's actually a decent horror movie.
I heard that was a good horror movie. Yeah.
It should have turned into a franchise.
Well, he went on to politics, so.
The only reason they could have possibly made sequels for the Marine is because of how bad people were talking about it. And they must have done it as a joke.
I don't know. I haven't seen any of them. I knew like WWE Films like did that entire series, and that tells you everything you need to know right there.
12 rounds too. That was another one he did 12 rounds. They did 2 sequels to that.
Was he in all of them?
No.
He did that firefighter movie too recently.
Play with Fire.
That's what it is.
That's a comedy.
That was supposedly all right.
It was bad.
I don't know if I've ever seen anything other than the Suicide Squad that he's been in.
What was with the close up on his junk at that one point? I mean, we got the joke of the tighty whities without that.
I think that's James Gunn. I think that's what he does. Excuse me. But yeah, I didn't need that. And apparently Laura said the same thing. She posted to Facebook that there was way too much of John Cena in his underwear in that. So if Laura is saying that, that's saying something. I'm just gonna say it. So, but oh my God, he does. He steals that movie for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
The lines he has and the shit he does. Oh my God, smaller bullets. So the only other thing that I have watched that because I've got a lot of stuff on the list that's a keep your heads up kind of thing. But the other one that I've watched is Marvel's What If.
What if I'd had time to watch that today?
Yeah.
I watched it right before we started recording. It's predictably it's good, but it's very predictable on what they start you off with, and it's the Captain Carter story. What if Peggy got the super soldier serum instead? What'd you think of it, Corbs? Because you said you watched it.
I did watch it. It was a little it was good, but it was a little strange. I mean, it basically followed the same story as Captain America, only instead of him being Captain America, she's like Captain
Carter. Yeah.
But it's like she's like got the British flag on her chest and stuff like that. Or whatever.
Almost Captain Britain.
Yeah. Whatever.
What actress played that role? Was it the same actress?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was Haley Atwell.
Haley Atwell.
She voiced her. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because What If is animated.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's all going to be animated.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was bad. I mean, like, I was kind of wondering like how the Winter Soldier part was going to play out in there, but it really kind of didn't.
Right.
I was kind of.
Did you catch the line though?
Yeah, by her pulling him back up and him ripping his arm off or something like that.
Jeez, you almost ripped my arm off.
Yeah, I did catch that.
I laughed like a moron when he said that, and everyone else is just looking at me.
And it was the arm that he loses.
Yes,
Yep.
he should have lost. Yes,
should have lost. Yeah.
And the end, and we're not going to give the end away, Corbs. The end is the greatest payoff in that, though, right?
Yeah.
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 That literally in my house got an oh my god. Kylie would like freaked out at the end with the guest stars at the end.
Yeah.
I don't want to give it away, Hugh, because I don't want to ruin that ending for you.
Okay.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. I did like that.
But
I'm looking forward to. I'm actually looking forward to his series that's coming out. Hawkeye.
Oh, yes, that's gonna be good too. Shit, now I have to add that. God damn it, Corbs.
Sorry.
Now I gotta add that trailer.
Well, Paul, since you're adding everything we talk about to the show notes, why don't we say that my news segment was brought to you by Pepsi Zero Sugar Mango? It's
there you
delicious.
go. How about you get it on there? If you
Now
can
you can
get them
add
to
that.
write us a check.
Oh, so all these other things in show notes are writing us checks?
No, I at least reference that stuff though. But it's so far it's a good start to What If.
Yeah.
And I'll be interested next week, Hugh, to see what you think of it.
Okay.
Do we know what the next episode is going to be?
I don't. I'm hoping it's the zombie episode though. They didn't say anything. I even watched through the credits just to see if it was going to do anything, and there's nothing after the credits or during the credits. Also, when you guys watch Suicide Squad, there is a mid-credit scene and an end credit scene.
Wow.
Yes. And the end credit scene is necessary. Definitely.
Agreed.
Mid-credit scene is just fucking funny.
Also agreed.
He was one of my favorite characters at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah,
by
I
the way.
really wanted to see. Yeah, I'd love to see more of that character.
Yes.
So funny.
And I just love the fact that Sean Gunn gets to have some fun in these movies.
Yeah.
All right. So anything else you guys want to jump onto before I get into the heads up stuff for streaming? Yeah, I know, Kevin, because you've had so much time to watch TV.
I'm really not complaining.
No, you shouldn't. You look like you had a good time.
I'm very happy to have had the weather to be able to get out and do some fun stuff. So I really, at this point, gaming and streaming is not at the top of my list of things to do.
As it should be. Corbs, have you been watching anything, or do you want me to go into the stuff that we're looking ahead to?
I mean, I watched another movie this last week called The Doorman with Ruby Rose.
The Doorman?
Yeah.
I love her.
It's on Amazon Prime. It's now free. I was free on there. She's a former vet that has a little PTSD and gets a job as a doorman to like a prestige hotel or apartment building that her brother-in-law and niece and nephew live in. Guy's married to her sister. Her sister was killed in a car accident. Guys come in to rob the place. It stars Ruby Rose is in it, and then the other big actor is Jan Reno.
The Professional.
Yes. Yeah, he's in it. Yeah.
See, I thought you said Janet Reno. Like
So did I.
yeah.
Jean Reno.
Yeah.
Jean Reno.
I was like, what the fuck is she doing acting in anything?
So,
I have got to see this.
Yeah, it was a good movie, Kev. You'll enjoy it.
So my first experience with Ruby Rose was in the was it the first or second one?
John Wick 2.
John Wick. Oh, the second one. John Wick. Yeah, she's the mute.
Yes.
Defending the guy.
Yep.
And they have a pretty intense fight scene.
Yeah.
I have yet to see any of those movies.
You know,
she's got a very interesting backstory that she published on her Instagram.
Nice.
I think we've talked about that.
Yeah.
I think actually you brought that up once, Kev.
Yeah.
Well, we'll have to check that one out too, The Doorman. But what do we have coming on the horizon, guys? We have Stargirl season 2. You've already watched episode 1. It dropped yesterday,
Yep.
Tuesday.
Yep.
I haven't gotten to it because I chose Suicide Squad and What If, because there's only so many hours in the day. I've heard good things.
Yeah,
I've heard the first episode was really good.
Yeah, I'm not going to go into detail. I mean, I know.
I appreciate that.
These guys aren't
a
gonna-
family one.
Yeah, it's a good start to the season. You're not going to be disappointed.
Awesome.
so wait, where do you watch Stargirl?
It's on the CW.
CW.
Yeah.
Okay.
And once the season is over, then it will show up on HBO Max.
I don't have HBO Max.
I can help you fix that if you want. And also on HBO Max is coming Thursday, which would have be yesterday for those of you watching the show. Titans season 3. Cannot wait for Titans.
Know.
All I gotta say is Red Hood. Just
Yeah.
Corbs, where are you at? I know you started into it.
So
I'm at just season 1. I think I got the first maybe 2 or 3 episodes in. I got a couple of them taped or DVR, so I gotta watch them.
Oh, that's right. You need to meet up with me because I have the seasons on Blu-ray for you.
Okay.
I forgot about that. We
So
can get you caught up.
Maybe we can meet at Stewart's or something like that.
Right. It'll have to be tomorrow because I'm in the office on Friday. And finally, the only other thing that's on my radar is the final season of The Walking Dead. I'm looking forward to it. Hoping they go out on a high note. And do we still think that this is going to roll into movies?
there's only one way this ends.
Everybody dying?
Nope.
They're trying to cure.
The exact same way the comic book ends. Just
So
gonna end.
anticlimactically?
It's just going to end. The last scene, somebody's going to be picking a fucking tomato and somebody else is going to be drawing a bucket of water. Then somebody else is walking out the front gate. You're going to watch Norman Reedus' head as he walks over into wherever, going to go see his girlfriend, and that's the end of it.
You know though, Kev, I get what you're saying, but I have to disagree because they can't end the story the way the comic book ended because they're spinning off with more shows, like the Daryl and Carol spinoff. So
That's true.
Yeah,
But why not?
Because they're not going to do a flash forward because that's how the comic ended with a flash forward. You won't do a flash forward if you're also spinning off these two characters in at the end of this season is when they go off and they start their show. So they're hamstrung by that.
I didn't
That's
know that about the comic book. All I'd heard was that it just ended. I didn't hear anything about a flash forward.
Yeah. It the comic book, big character, everybody knows. So fuck it. It's not a spoiler.
It's been a while.
Anymore.
Yeah.
Rick dies in a very, very unheroic way. They flash forward like 20 years, and Carl is married to Sophia, and they've got a kid, and he's reading her a book about the legend of Rick Grimes and how he helped save civilization, which may be how they eventually end all of this, but it's not going to happen in the final season of Walking Dead.
Right.
Because it takes all the
We have the Rick Grimes movies.
See,
yes.
that's actually a finish. That is not anything like anything I heard about the end of the comic books. From several people, I heard, "Oh, he just ended it." It wasn't. Oh no, it got finished, and this is how it got finished.
Oh, it was.
That's
finished.
a finish. That's a finish. That's not just an ending.
Yeah, he just didn't tell anybody that it was finishing. Nobody knew until the day before the comic dropped.
Oh, fucking wah.
And it was actually a perfect ending.
See, I still haven't read it. I think I have it, but did I get it or not? I don't remember.
I don't know if you got it. You picked it up.
You went. I picked it up for you.
No,
that's the one you went overseas for, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Does the comic book ever explore how or why where the virus came from or nothing?
No.
Didn't they do something for Halloween once?
Yeah, they did.
Aliens or something. Yeah. I don't know if that's actually canon or not, though.
I don't think so.
What timeline is that in?
Huh?
Never mind.
Anyway, what do you think? Do you think we should just wrap this up with some wisdom nuggets?
Might as well drop your nuggets.
All right. If we're not meant to have midnight snacks, why is there a light in the fridge? Good night, everybody, and Mega Money, bitches.
This has been a GeekPod Network production.